For those who don't know me, I'm Judy Trombetta, and the Commissioner in Haverford Township's 4th Ward. I'm joined tonight by my colleagues, Commissioners Kevin McCloskey and Commissioner Brian Gondek. I'm also joined by a whole number of professionals. We have Haverford Township Manager David Berman, Haverford Township Deputy Police Chief Joe Hagan. Forgive me, I should have started with Haverford Township Police Chief John Viola, Haverford Township Director of Public Works Dan Mariani, Alan Roth and Larry Weaver from Aqua PA, Michelle Garrity from PICO, Will Morris from Miller Brothers, and Joe McCuney, the Director of Safety and Security from Haverford Township School District. Tonight, we'll be viewing presentations from Aqua PA and PICO about their utility projects. Through our webinar feature, first, just don't be alarmed if you're not seeing yourself. I remember attending another meeting and being a little concerned that I couldn't see myself. We can't see you right now. It's a webinar feature. But through this webinar feature, you'll be able to submit your questions and comments. And we'll try to get to as many of them as possible, but please be advised that this is recorded and being shared for those who are not able to attend tonight. Before I hand the mic over to my colleagues, I wanted to just go over a few ground rules to ensure that we have a productive meeting. First, we'll allow each presenter to speak and then have a Q&A portion after each presentation. Again, you can submit your questions and comments at any time throughout the presentation, and then we'll try to get to as many as possible. I must ask that you please treat our speakers respectfully. Name calling or accusatory remarks are counterproductive to the conversation and will not be shared during the Q&A portion. So let's just try to keep it constructive. And then finally, out of respect to everyone's time, please refrain from asking any specific questions about your personal property or past issues that you've had. If you have personal concerns, please contact your commissioner for additional assistance. Our email addresses usually go first initial, last name at havtwp.org. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Commissioner Brian Gondek, for his opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judy. I'll be brief because I know everyone here is more interested in what the Aqua representatives and the PICO representatives are here to say. I just wanted to briefly thank the various township officials that are on this call, my colleagues on the Board of Commissioners that are on this call, and the representatives from PICO and Aqua. Obviously, this is a massive project that is going to cause, quite frankly, through no one's fault, a lot of headaches in our respective communities. And the point of this call is to make sure, that everyone has the best information that they have out there. And, moving forward between now and the completion of this project, that we all just try to work together to make sure that the information is continuously disseminated and that we work together to get through this. Let's not lose sight of the fact that the whole purpose of this project isn't because anyone just randomly decided to dig up the roads. It's that we're improving the infrastructure in our township, improving the water lines, the sewage lines, and the power lines, which is going to, benefit all of us, for the into the future. So it is going to be a little bit of a inconvenience, but I'm sure that if we continue to communicate with each other and work together, we'll get through it, and down the road we'll see the payoff from it. But so thank you everyone for participating, and please, again, to the residents that are watching this call, this webinar is just to demonstrate, is to give out information. Feel free to always call your commissioner, email your commissioner, and we'd be more than happy to keep you in the current. But thank you all.
Then I'll just add briefly that I certainly appreciate everybody being on this call tonight, especially people from Aqua and PICO, and know that you don't necessarily need to be here, but appreciate you doing this for the residents of our town. And also specific thanks to Commissioner Trombetta for spearheading, organizing this meeting and getting everyone together. Certainly appreciate all that. And I would just echo the thanks that everybody else already mentioned, but without further ado, you don't need to hear me speak. I'll just introduce Michelle Garrity, the external affairs manager for Delaware County from PICO, and William Morris, the program manager at Miller Brothers. So thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Good evening, everyone. So my name is Michelle Garrity. I'm the external affairs manager for Delaware County for PICO. So I work with all of the townships and local elected officials, like the commissioners on the call this evening. So I'm just going to give you a high-level overview of what we have, what we're doing right now in the township. And Will Mars from Miller Brothers, who is on with me, can answer any kind of specific questions that I can't. So Miller Brothers is the contractor that is doing the gas work in the township. I'm sure a lot of you have seen us in the township over the years. We are replacing a lot of gas mains in the township. So that is exactly what we are doing in the Lynnewood Park section. Okay, great. Dave, are you pulling up the map? Perfect. I had that ready to go. So here is the area that we're going to be working in. We're actually already working there right now. As I mentioned, what we're doing is we're replacing the gas mains. Also in replacing the gas mains, we have to transfer all the services. So what does that mean? You most likely have a gas service that is coming off the gas main going into your home. So we get the gas main in the ground, and then we transfer each individual service for each resident. We work with the resident. The resident will need to be home when this happens. We have to briefly interrupt the gas. Once all the services are transferred, retire the old main, get the new main on, and then we have temporary restoration, and we come back with keyhole and do the final paving. So this is the area that we're working. Will, is there anything you want to add? Specifically, where are you working right now?
No,
Exactly.
Michelle, thank you. You nailed it. So if you can see the map, it's color coded by sequencing. Currently, we have all the main in on the red portion, Howell and Mount Pleasant. We're working on the light blue currently, and that's kind of try and start our project sooner. That way we can kind of get away from Lawrence Road to kind of work with traffic. I know we met with Haverford last month or so just to discuss to, limit the amount of headaches that this construction may cause, and everything's going to plan so far. Circle Drive will be next, and then the yellow and green portions will be working starting next month or the following. And it's quite a bit of work. It's a little over 13,000 feet of main that we're looking at right now, over 300 homes affected. So we will be there. We will ensure that there are no dead ends or U-turns that need to take place. And that'll be kind of working out with our crews on the job and any of the construction that's actually being done on Lawrence Road. We do allow any emergent vehicles, police, male firefighter, anything that is going. Yep, exactly. It's just coming through. And we're very receptive to the feedback. I know it's going to be difficult, but we will respond and communicate as best we can, so there's as little issues as possible.
And Will, how long will you be in this neighborhood? Is this most of the year with all these services?
Yeah, unfortunately, the whole neighborhood will be affected. Probably we were started January 3rd. Our goal is to be out of there by October 31st, and then it takes about 30 to 45 days for final restoration, and that's in order to get the paving done. You have to pave when it's a little bit warmer, so I would say end of November, mid-December. But it's not as invasive as it sounds. We're only going to have 2 to 3 crews throughout the neighborhood. We're not going to be on a certain street for 6-7 months. We move pretty quickly. So a couple weeks at a time, I would say, per block, and then we'll follow back up to run the services and keep all traffic flowing.
Any questions?
Michelle, one question asks, what streets in Maryland Park is the question?
Will, do we have any of them? Dave, can you back?
Yeah, I'm going to back up. I don't see anything in Maryland Park in particular.
Yeah, I don't know. I have the map here too. No. Nothing. Yeah, nothing in that section.
Okay, next question. Are any of the outlier roads not highlighted in the scope? And if they are, within the squiggly cloud? And I think the way you presented it is, it's just the highlighted or roads that have colors assigned to them, correct?
Yeah, Dave, that's correct. I believe there was a previous contractor working possibly Maple Hill and Fairmont last year. We'll only be working the highlighted roads, and actually the gray, that I don't know if you can see that, but that's one of the roads we'll be working next year in 2024. But we will only be on the roads that are highlighted for 2023.
All right. There was a question about Lawrence Road. We'll get to that shortly. Maryland Drive is in the cloud, but again, I guess they're asking about the highlighted Maryland road. So that is in the cloud. It's highlighted yellow and green, looks like.
Yeah, sorry, I missed that. Yeah, so we will be working on that, probably starting main installation, end of March, early April, tentative dates.
The highlighted green, a question on the Lynnewood, Ashton, and that part of Stanton down there. When will that take place, do you think?
Similar timeline. I would say the sooner we start, the quicker we're out of there. So, the whole scope in itself is going to be, like we said, from January to October, possibly November. I'm hoping to get a crew out there probably in April. And then, the services will follow up. So we'll go block by the main crew to install the new main, and then follow that up with the service crews to run that.
So can you, if you didn't already say it, you're on Tyson now, and you already started on Howell and Mount Pleasant. What's the sequence after that? Just briefly.
Yep.
Well,
it's
do
not a
you want me
problem.
to, do you want me, you got it, or I was gonna say I can read it.
Yeah, I mean, it fluctuates as well based on, the amount of scope and crews that the neighborhood can handle without getting overly congested. So we'd have all the main in the red. We're working on getting the new gas main in the light blue. That crew will then go to purple. And then there will be more than likely an additional crew separate from the Mount Pleasant, Howell, Tyson circle, working on the Maryland, Melrose, Ashton, Lynnewood area, probably end of March, early April to begin that main installation.
Okay. And
Just-
only the
if I-
portions that are highlighted are in the scope of work, just to be clear.
Correct.
Thank you.
Right, so if I can just chime in to say, so to Mr. Muterick's question, Maryland Drive, which is still technically in the cloud on the northernmost portion, is not highlighted, so that is not in your scope of work this year, correct? It's oh, I think you're muted.
Just the Maryland with the yellow and the green is what we'll be working.
Okay, that's Maryland. The Maryland is up at the top. So yes, I think
Okay,
because
yeah,
it's not highlighted, right?
Correct.
No
Correct.
Maryland, correct.
Got it. Thanks.
All right, those are all the questions related to the Pico work so far.
Dave, if I could just chime in with one question, can you explain, once the main work is done, in these neighborhoods, what's going to be the process for the street restoration itself?
Yeah, so that's actually one of our challenges that I've experienced throughout, managing our Miller Brothers gas construction, and that's why we do it by block and by sequencing. So, Howell and Mount Pleasant is installed. We'll have a service crew working there probably a week or two. Once all those services are completed, we submit a ticket to Pico. I believe it's Keo is the contractor that works with Pico. And they'll receive that ticket. We typically wait 30 days, or they typically wait 30 days minimum for final compaction and for the road to settle. And then they'll be out to final restore, mill and overlay and pave.
Yeah, and if I can jump in there too, it does have to do with the temperature. Oh, it's been warm, but it also has to do with if the asphalt plants are, making asphalt, et cetera. So it's February. If Will's going to submit this ticket in 2 weeks, that's March. We wait usually anywhere between, I think it's 45 and 60 days, then it should be in good shape and the weather would not affect final restoration.
Yeah, then that's our goal for kind of starting early and starting heavily, is so when we hit the fall month, September, October, Pico's getting those tickets well in advance, where we're not in, December where the plants are closed. So that's kind of our goal. Our busy season is January to October. That's, Pico's plan to make sure that all roads get final restored. And I can provide, I think I already do a bi-weekly update. And it should show, when they anticipate a restoration takes place.
Okay, when the commissioners are finished with the Pico questions, we'll move on to Aqua whenever you're ready, Judy.
Okay, just to confirm, the gray portion is not slated to be worked on until next year. Is that correct?
A little confusing, but yes, that is also correct.
And then in terms of Mount Pleasant, you'll see that Mount Pleasant continues kind of northward, but that portion isn't shaded in red. Is that portion not being done, or is it going all the way up towards Lawrence Road?
Only in red.
Okay. Then I think we've answered everything. Sorry, one more. Please clarify, if the gray highlighted area is not going to be worked on until 2024, then does this mean this project will continue into 2024?
Yeah, for whatever reason, I believe it's due to the standards or where we're pulling the gas from, it got pushed to 2024. But it won't delay any of the final restoration of the streets that are being worked.
Understood.
So yeah, just to add, and how Will said earlier, that's kind of why it gets done in chunks, so that we don't wait until the end, until everything is done to do final restoration, because some streets, some blocks would be waiting like 9 months. So that's kind of why it gets done street to street.
Thank you. All right, I think we're ready to move on.
Okay, Commissioner Trombetta, correct me if I'm wrong, but if Pico is done, we're going to be moving to the Aqua part of the presentation, which I believe is being handled by Alan Roth and Larry Weaver from Aqua PA, who are on this call. Alan, Larry, hello, welcome, thank you, and if you could let us know the information we need to know.
Great, thanks for hosting this. My name is Alan Roth. I'm the construction manager out of our Springfield office in Delaware County. I'm actually a Havertown resident, so I try to take care of our own when we can and provide information, and hopefully we do a good job for me and my neighbors in the town. It's certainly, Brian hit the nail on the head. This is a kind of a necessary evil that we live in, and doing construction work. It's a pain in the butt, and it creates traffic problems and sometimes some noise issues and all kinds of things that we're all, being in Delaware County residents, I'm sure we're all well aware of. So I don't want to minimize, the importance to every individual that has concerns. They're all important to us, and we take our job seriously, and we understand this is a large undertaking. So bear with us, and we'll do the best we can. I think that Dave Berman and Chief Viola and Dan Mariani can speak to the level of communication that we offer as an organization to try to minimize issues as they come up, and try to stay ahead of as much as we can. And we always encourage people to not sit on concerns, but to voice the concern so that we can address them quickly, so that one concern doesn't become 2 concerns and 3 concerns and 4 concerns. And then you have a whole group of people that are just completely fed up with 10 different things that maybe could have been addressed early on in the project. So again, we'll do the best we can to to work with everybody to provide information and deal with concerns as they come up. So that being said, we are going to be replacing a 16-inch water main in Lawrence Road from Westchester Pike all the way up to Eagle. This is, it is a large project. If you recall, I'm sure we all do, the headaches that, went around the Westchester Pike project last year, going from, Manoa basically all the way down to the Blue Route, to Lawrence Road, as a matter of fact. So, it's certainly not quite that scope, but it is, it is a busy thoroughfare that's going to be, restricted and closed for a period of time. And, we'll do the best we can to move people around. It's about 5,500 feet of main and 66 services. We have a general time frame to do that main work and service work in about 3.5 months. So if we start, for round dates, March 1st, we expect to be done by, say, the end of June with pipe and services, all things going well. And, we're able to get the pipe in the ground at the rate that we think we can. So we know there's about 8 or so cross streets that connect with Lawrence Road. They're shown on the map. Aqua doesn't have a map, and you're welcome to leave that up just for visual reference. But starting at like Ellis Road, and then we have Maryland and Jacqueline and Springhouse, then we have Tyson and Mount Pleasant and Fairmount. And then going up closer to Eagle is Chester and Howard. We know that getting out onto Lawrence Road is going to be challenging at times. We intend to have signage available so that if you do want to try to traverse Lawrence Road during this period of time, we'll have some level of directional signs so that if you're, I'll just as an example, if you're coming out of Mount Pleasant towards Lawrence and you want to make a left, but you see a sign, road closed ahead, I wouldn't make that left. I would go right and follow the detour, which the general detour is Eagle Road down to Westchester Pike. It's that simple. We're working restricted time, which is 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We have been in very close contact with the school district regarding the Lynnewood Elementary School. We're working with them on a very detailed plan of when school's in session, when it's not in session, pickup times, drop-off times, bus traffic. That's all being discussed. So that's not something that we've ignored, to say the least. We're very engaged with the school district. We thank the school district for being on tonight. If they certainly have anything to add, we welcome that. We talk with Dave Berman and his group fairly frequently. We're working with Chief Viola to provide police detail for state road projects so that it can help people get around, let people know that the road is in fact closed. So we just encourage people to really kind of take a deep breath and not use Lawrence Road for a few months, as tough as that may be. That being said, if you choose to try it, as I said before, we'll try to provide signage to let you know you can go one way or the other. We will only have one crew for the most part working. So we're going to do a rolling work zone starting at Westchester Pike, working our way up to Eagle. So if we're only down one end and you want to come out to Lawrence and we're still on the Westchester Pike side, you might be able to make a right and get up to Eagle. That's fine. We're not going to restrict that kind of traffic. We don't want this to be any more painful than it has to be for folks. So just know if you choose wrong one day and you go the wrong way, you may find yourself turning around if we can't get you through. So just keep that in mind. We were not going back into the neighborhoods where PICO's working. So, PICO described their work. It should not interfere with our work, and we hope vice versa. That's probably about all we have. It's a fairly simple project, albeit a large project, and it's something that we do, every day. And, if things come up, please let us know.
Alan, thank you. I was asked by a couple constituents a question. You're replacing the water main? Are you also replacing any sewer lines or just the water line?
No, we don't own the sewer in Haverford Township. We don't own any of the sewer.
Okay.
Unless Dave wants to sell it. Different conversation, Dave.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're ready for that. Thank you for the offer, though.
Thanks for that. I'm just gonna jump into some of the questions. Is it possible to create a dedicated lane from Springhouse, the Springhouse cul-de-sac to Jacqueline so that the residents in Springhouse never get cut off? Or tell me how anybody who's on Springhouse will be able to traverse during that time where the work is being performed in that area.
So because Springhouse is a one way in and out, we will always maintain some level of access for the folks there to get to and from their properties. We do anywhere with a large diameter pipe, we're probably somewhere in the 90 to 150 feet a day. 150 feet would be a very good day. So for us to be just sitting in front of the entrance to Springhouse it's not, we'll make sure one lane can get in and out while we put the main in the ground. So we might be half a day in front of that actual entrance. We do have road plates, and we have folks that can help people get in and out where, during an active construction in that area.
And can you repeat, how long will Lawrence Road be closed?
It'll be detoured again from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We're hoping probably somewhere in a 3 to 4 month time frame, starting say early, first week, actually next week. So call it March 1st through July, mid-June, late June, early July, somewhere in there.
Can you answer, how will the PennDOT project from Lawrence Road to 476, will the announced PennDOT project from Lawrence Road to 476 North on ramp have an impact on this project?
No.
Okay. Sorry.
And we work very closely, obviously, with PennDOT, to make sure that we're not pushing one detour into another detour and people are just getting turned around all which way. So that's very well coordinated with the district office of PennDOT.
Great. So to get to the Blue Route, everyone will use Eagle Road to Westchester Pike is one of the questions or comments.
Correct. And I wouldn't advertise it, but for the folks on once we're past your street, let's say we're coming, we're going northeast up Lawrence and I live on Fairmount. Once we're past going up towards Lynnewood School, people will be able to make a left out of Fairmount down to the Westchester Pike. Again, that's not part of the detour. I'm not supposed to be advertising that, but that's the common sense things that people will learn along the way, particularly the residents in Lynnewood Park and Maryland Park, that we've all dealt with this for years. So we figure it out, and it's a headache. But once we move past your street, you can go that other way. I just can't advertise it. I can't, I am, but I'm not, if you get, a wink and a nod on that. Same thing, if I come out Tyson and I want to go to Jacqueline and Aqua's not working on that section of Lawrence Road, I can do the dog leg across Lawrence Road to get up to Jacqueline or to Springhouse. So we're not going to just stop people for the sake of stopping people. But again, you make a turn and you find out you're at the work zone, you're gonna have to turn around. So that's the residents' risk of trying something. But we'll try to provide signage to let folks know, don't go that way.
So I think this is a repeat from what Brian asked, but is Aqua considering the kindergarten, middle school, and high school buses that drop off in those neighborhoods before 3 p.m.? Will those buses be provided access?
We're working with the school district on all those logistics. So yeah, the short answer is yes, we're going to make sure the kids get to and from school. And the school district will be the responsible party to communicate with the parents and the staff and whoever needs to know if drop-off locations change to around the back side of the school as opposed to the front side of the school. Again, we've identified days where school's not in session, where maybe we can get work done at the school when the kids are on break, or, you know, we're at that level of detail with the district.
Thank you. I'm gonna keep going through. You mentioned work from Westchester all the way to Eagle, but did not mention Darby Creek Road. When you mentioned intersecting streets, will that road be affected? If it's not, is it the intention to funnel traffic down Darby Creek Road because it's not ideal for
Well,
lots of traffic?
Yeah, the formal answer is our detour is Eagle to Westchester Pike. So PennDOT does not want us to use Darby Creek Road as the official detour or part of the official detour. The Darby Creek Road will be kept open during this entire project. So we're not going to intentionally funnel people down Darby Creek Road. People will figure out they're able to use Darby Creek Road and they'll use it. We have no problem with that. But it's not part of the official detour.
Will this project affect or shut off water on Josie Lane?
I gotta look at the map, Josie Lane. Help me out.
It's just north of Maryland Drive. and
That again, we're not back in the neighborhood, so we're not shutting down neighborhoods. The only shutdown periodic would be for service transfers and other tie-in work, but those people, anyone affected by a shutdown would be notified at least 24 hours in advance.
Can you tell us about the Lawrence Road restoration?
So our goal is to have the entire job done mid summer and then be able to pave before the fall.
If I can just briefly follow up on that, because I'm getting some texts on that one. Is your intention to repave the entire street or just a portion of, like, a side of the street?
PennDOT's requirements are the half road that we are working in gets restored. Although I think PennDOT may have this on their, I'm going to ask Larry, my counterpart, and he's my field supervisor. I believe Lawrence Road may be on the PennDOT docket to pave the entire stretch that we're working on.
That is correct, Al. PennDOT is due to pave this when we're done our project curb to curb, I believe. The length.
So there you go.
Okay, so it's going to be a curb to curve repavement all the way from Westchester Pike up to Eagle Road.
By PennDOT, yes. We'll do the trench restoration to flush with existing roadway, and then PennDOT will come in the fall or as soon as they can, September, October, and do mill and overlay.
That is one of the 3 streets in Havertown that PennDOT is scheduled to repave, Brian. I can get some dates for you once we get moving with the project.
That's great. Thank you.
Brian, any other questions? Okay, how will traffic be handled coming from Westchester Pike attempting to turn onto Lawrence Road during the detour? Will local residents be given access if that area is not being actively worked on during 9 to 3?
Informally, again, you'll be able to drive where you think you want to get. We're not going to advertise against the detour. So between Westchester Pike and Darby Creek Road, we will do our best to just restrict that and at least allow traffic coming off the Pike to go up to Darby Creek Road. At that point, then you can go Darby Creek Road. If you want to talk to a flagger or a police officer, will be at the end of and they say, hey, yeah, they're, Aqua's all the way up at, Tyson, but you're only going to Fairmont, then yeah, we'll get you through. Does that answer the question?
I think so.
Okay.
Once Aqua is complete, will all of Lawrence from Eagle to Westchester Pike be 100%? Okay, we already got that, sorry. Yes, it will be paved. Curb to curb. Since Ellis Road has such a high volume of traffic, will detour signs be posted on Ardmore Avenue?
I would have to look at our detour plan. Unless Larry may have it. Just while Larry's looking that up, the way PennDOT operates is we have to submit a detour plan, which goes into the detail of what signs get posted on what streets. Again, the folks that are on this call, as pain in the butt as it may be, please just try to not to use Lawrence Road. Because if you come down Ellis and you can't go the way you want to go, you're going to be really not happy.
So to answer that question, there's only signs right off of Lawrence Road at Ellis. There's nothing up the street more towards Ardmore.
Is it possible to add some signage there? I could see why it wouldn't make sense if you went all the way down to Ellis and then realized you had to turn around.
So when they get to Ellis, they won't have to turn around, but they will be, like Alan said earlier, directed either to make a right and go to Westchester Pike or make a left and start going up the Eagle Road and follow the detour.
Depending
They
where our
won't.
work zones.
Yes.
Okay. Do you anticipate any impact to water service or fire protection for the area during the Aqua project?
There will be minor interruptions as we get to individual services that are along the route. Again, they'll be provided notice for any service interruptions. If we have an emergency, we do have what's called, I'll call it Swift Reach. That's our old name. There's a new name for it, but it's an automated system that if you're in our system with your email, cell phone, it'll send a text or give you a phone call or send an email with service interruptions. So if you're not signed up for that, I believe you can do that through our website at aquamerica.com.
Will you ever be working on the weekends?
We may. We're not looking to do that, but we may, depending on if something comes up where we feel that weekend work would be more beneficial to getting the project finished on time. But right now, we're not looking at weekend work.
With the added traffic on Eagle Road, will the timing of the traffic lights at Eagle and Westchester Pike be adjusted to accommodate the added volume of traffic?
Aqua doesn't have that information. I don't know. Again,
I'll answer
Okay,
answer
go
that
ahead.
one. No, we will not change the timing. Those lights are all working and linked together, and they work by, they read the traffic of how much is coming in each direction and adjust accordingly. I expect there will be some additional delays because of the volume, but the lights do work automatically.
Again, we're 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So it's not, theoretically it's outside of the core rush hour. So maybe the volume isn't as great as everybody's anticipating.
Do you have any comments about how mail will be handled?
We always allow for mail delivery, emergency services, school buses, trash removal. We always accommodate that.
We're almost done. Bear with me. Is equipment going to be staged on the residential side? Oh, I just realized I was muted. Sorry about that. Can't have a meeting without having somebody accidentally being on mute. So there we go. Is equipment going to be staged on the residential side streets on overnights or weekends?
I'll punt to Larry. Do you know where they're going to be staging yet, Larry?
Typically, we try to stage as close as we can to the work. It minimizes downtime when we're trying to get the work started. So it will be staged here or there at times, but it's typically not more than, a week, and then we move to a different location. I know material is going off of not on the side streets. We will have to stage some pipe on a couple side streets, but we'll get with Dan Mariani, make sure we get some good spots. And typically when we do use them, it's not the same street. We put it there, we use it, and then we move on to somewhere else, so we can try to minimize what we're doing.
Meaning we're not looking to stockpile materials and pipe in one location, which is now, again, you may see a large piece of equipment on your street for a week while we park it. So it's near where we're the active work zone. If we have to cart in a front end loader every day, that's not an efficient use of construction time, particularly on restricted time when we're only, getting 5-6 hours a day of work in. But we will try to cone it off or put barricades up so it's visible, so people don't come around a corner and, run into a piece of equipment or, sticks of pipe or anything like that. So.
Is there any regulation about how far you need that to be from a driveway? And I ask because the part 2 of that question was, if you do have equipment staged there, will you allow for adequate clearance and visibility so they can pull out of their driveways?
We will make sure our contractors are aware of the common sense type things that come up like that. So yes, we are aware that people need to access their driveways safely. And again, the purpose of having communications with you folks is if you feel we're not doing our job in that regard, we'll come out and we'll make sure things get moved. You just have to let us know. Don't wait 2 weeks and you have something blocking your driveway and now you're really upset. Just tell us day one, hey, this is blocking my driveway. I can't see down the road. I can't get, we get it. And things will be moved very quickly.
After 3 p.m., will Lawrence Road be open with 2 lanes?
Yes.
I think we're down to our final question unless somebody comes in with it late here. Just to confirm, the circle on Melrose will not be a parking lot for materials. It sounds like you're moving the equipment around so that nobody is overly inundated with it, correct?
That's our intent, yes. And if, again, you feel that things are not moving the way you thought, let us know and we'll give individuals our best estimate as to when things can be moved, efficiently.
Great. So I'm through the questions. Oh, no, sorry. A few more just came in. Where can we find the detour map?
We could give it to the township. They can post it on the website. It's from a layman's perspective, it's probably somewhat complicated, but we can provide it.
That'd be great. One more. Paddock Farms area gets a ton of people who cut through our area to avoid the traffic backup on Eagle on a good day, and in particular mess at Darby and Eagle at high traffic times. They just turn off onto Hillcrest at the Y. Can anything be done to try and slow down the folks who love cutting through our side streets often at a high rate of speed?
I think that's a township question, I guess.
It is, and we will increase police patrols in that area during the construction.
Thank you, Chief. Any other questions from the commissioners? Brian, you're the second one to do the mute thing, so you're on.
Sorry. Kind of piggybacking off that question, and this is more geared towards Chief Viola. Obviously, there's a lot of concern with the residents in the first ward that, you know, the signs are great, but at the end of the day, people who know this area are going to be cutting down Robinson, they're going to be cutting down Briarwood. There's a potential to push a lot of traffic there. Can you just, you know, explain to the residents, you know, that basically that the police department is aware of that increased traffic and potential for issues with speeding, stop sign violations and so on, and what efforts you will be taking to address that?
Yes, I will, Commissioner. I mean, during this project, we have a lot of streets to cover because of the detour and the times of the day, obviously. Luckily, it's not during rush hour, so I think that you won't see that problem during the morning backups and the evening backups. But during that time, obviously, we are going to increase patrols in that area. We only have so much manpower to go around, so as complaints come in, as far as stop sign violations, what people notice more, we will do spot enforcement in those areas. But we're aware of when a detour happens, you know, a lot of cut throughs, and we do our best to maintain police presence in that area.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Well, if we have no other questions, then I thank you so much to everyone for participating. Especially thank you to Pico, Michelle, and Aqua, Alan, for all the information you provided, and of course to our township officials who helped us get through this. So thank you so much. Again, if there are any questions or concerns as things go on, please reach out to your commissioners or to the township for additional assistance, and we'll be glad to provide it. But if nobody else has anything going once, Kevin, it looks like you're ready to go. No?
I'm good.
Judy, I'll just simply throw a thank you to
Please.
you for moderating tonight's event. Thank you for moderating it, and for I have to give credit where credit's due. I believe the flyer that was put together by Judy. So thank you for the flyer. Thank you for moderating the event.
Of course, thank you. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good night.